Right. So in terms of the first slide, we've got something which will be of no surprise to any of you. So what I suggest we do is move straight on to what the review is covering. And I'll invite you, if you haven't already got it in your hand, just to get a copy of the consultation paper that we've produced, because it sets out the issues which Parliament has mandated that the Commission must consider, and they probably won't be of any surprise to you, but might be helpful just to go through the consultation paper and just see how we've set things out. So if you go to page 5, the first issue that the Commission will be looking at is that of thresholds. And you'll see from the consultation paper that what we've done is set out in relation to each of the issues a very brief piece on the current situation, just to assist people who want to make a submission. But the important thing is that there is more information about each of the issues available on the website. And if people can't get to the internet, and we hear a lot from people, despite the fact that there are something like 80% of New Zealanders with access to the internet, that means there are 20% who do not, and they certainly don't hesitate to let us know that they don't have access to the internet. So they need to know that to get the same information, all they need to do is call our free phone number, 0800 36 76 56, and we'll get the information to them. The other thing that you might notice by just looking at the questions that we ask, they are very open-ended. The Commission is being very careful to make this part of the process as open-ended as possible. We want to hear what New Zealanders think, so we are doing everything we can not to constrain the debate. Turning to page 7, the next issue identified is that relating to by-elections and the ability of list candidates to be able to contest by-elections, and Parliament wishes to know what New Zealanders think about that. Now, the issues have been ordered alphabetically, so there's no magic or priority being accorded to the Commission as far as the order of issues. It's simply that it's alphabetical. Turning to page 9, the next issue is dual candidacy and the ability of candidates to both contest a list and an electorate. And again, we're interested in knowing what New Zealanders think about that. Going to page 11, the order of candidates on the party list. At the moment, party lists are closed. In other words, the party determines the order of the candidates. And the question is whether that should continue to be the case, or whether voters should have some say over how party lists are ordered. Page 13. What should happen when a party wins more electorate seats than its party vote would entitle it to? Known technically as the overhang. And then finally, the proportion of electorate seats to list seats. As most of you will know, as a consequence of the way in which New Zealand's boundaries are determined, the number of electorate seats increases over time, and that has an effect on the ratio of electorate seats to list seats. So whereas when MMP was first introduced, there were 65 electorate seats, now there are 70. And the question is whether that's a problem, or will it become a problem, and if so, what we should do about it. And then if we go to page 17, you'll see that there's an open invitation for members of the public to raise other issues with the Commission. So Parliament has made clear the things that it wants to be considered. It's made clear that the Commission can't consider matters relating to Māori representation or the number of MPs. And it made that decision because those two issues are common to whichever electoral system you have, whether it's first past the post, supplementary member. You can have Māori representation and a parliament of any size that you wished under any of those systems. So those issues aren't included in the review of MMP, however they are included in the constitutional review. So beyond those two issues, anything that relates to how New Zealanders think we might improve MMP, we want to hear about.